Hi, friends. Welcome to the ultimate journey across America, featuring 50 incredible experiences in this vast and beautiful country. From coast to coast, the United States offers unparalleled diversity to inspire your next great American road trip. Whether you seek natural wonders, historic landmarks, or vibrant city culture, you'll find 50 unforgettable experiences here. Let's start our adventure with iconic destinations that showcase the best this nation has to offer. Discover why America belongs on your travel bucket list. 1. Experience the Grand Canyon, Arizona. First, witness the Grand Canyon, stretching 277 miles across the Arizona desert and plunging over a mile deep. This chasm reveals nearly 2 billion years of geological history through colorful rock layers carved by the Colorado River. Hike legendary trails like Bright Angel or South Kai Bob, take a helicopter flight for a bird's-eye view, or stand at the rim and absorb the canyon's scale. Sunrise and sunset paint the walls in brilliant shades, creating magical moments that have drawn visitors for generations. Whether at the popular South Rim or the remote North Rim, the Grand Canyon offers a humbling and inspiring experience. 2. Explore Yellowstone National Park, Wyoming. Next, journey to Yellowstone National Park, America's first national park and a geothermal wonderland where the Earth's power reveals itself through erupting geysers, colorful hot springs, and abundant wildlife. This vast 2.2 million acre wilderness spans 3 states and contains over half of the world's geysers, including the famous Old Faithful that shoots boiling water over 100 feet into the air at predictable intervals. You'll encounter bison herds grazing in the Lamar Valley, elk bugling in the meadows, and possibly wolves or bears roaming their natural habitat across this pristine ecosystem. The park's Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone features stunning waterfalls plunging through colorful rock formations, while the Grand Prismatic Spring dazzles with its rainbow of thermophilic bacteria, creating nature's most brilliant palette. Driving the Grand Loop Road allows you to experience the park's incredible diversity, from high alpine meadows to deep river canyons, creating an adventure that feels like exploring a different world with every turn. 3. Walk the National Mall, Washington, D.C. Discover America's front yard by walking the National Mall, the iconic stretch of green space stretching from the Capitol Building to the Lincoln Memorial that contains the nation's most important monuments and museums. This 2-mile promenade offers free access to the Smithsonian museums, where you can see the Hope Diamond, the original Star-Spangled Banner, and artifacts from America's journey through history and innovation. You can stand at the Lincoln Memorial, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, pay respects at the somber Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and gaze up at the Washington Monument piercing the sky. The reflecting pool offers the classic view that appears in countless films and photographs, while the World War II Memorial honors the greatest generation with its beautiful fountain and pillar design. Whether visiting during cherry blossom season, when pink petals frame the monuments, or on a crisp autumn evening, when the memorials glow against the night sky, the National Mall represents the heart of American democracy and history. 4. Drive the Pacific Coast Highway, California. California's Pacific Coast Highway, officially known as Highway 1, offers a 123-mile drive along the scenic coastline. The route features ocean views, coastal towns, and landmarks such as the Bixby Creek Bridge and Big Sur's redwood forests. Travelers can enjoy points of interest like Carmel by the Sea and see features including elephant seal colonies and the historic Hearst Castle near San Simeon. The drive rewards a relaxed pace with frequent stops to take in the varied coastal scenery. 5. Visit the Statue of Liberty, New York. Sail across New York Harbor to Liberty Island and stand in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty, the iconic symbol of freedom and democracy that has welcomed millions of immigrants to America's shores since 1886. This colossal copper statue, a gift from France, rises 305 feet from pedestal to torch, with her crown offering spectacular views of the New York City skyline and harbor. The museum at the pedestal tells the fascinating story of the statue's construction, its symbolism, and the generations of immigrants who saw Lady Liberty as the first glimpse of their new home. You can walk the grounds, gaze up at her dignified face, and contemplate the words inscribed on her pedestal. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The ferry ride itself offers incredible views of the Manhattan skyline, the nearby Ellis Island Immigration Museum, and the bustling harbor, which remains one of the world's busiest waterways. This experience connects you to the heart of the American story in a way no other landmark can. 6. Explore the French Quarter, New Orleans. Immerse yourself in the vibrant culture of New Orleans by exploring the French Quarter, where Spanish, Emeries, and French colonial architecture, jazz music, and Creole cuisine create an atmosphere unlike anywhere else in America. This historic neighborhood, founded in 1718, features the iconic Jackson Square, where artists display their work, street musicians perform, and the magnificent St. Louis Cathedral rises against the sky. You can wander down Bourbon Street to experience the legendary nightlife, but the quarter's true magic lies in its quieter streets, like Royal Street, with its antique shops and art galleries, and in the residential areas with their lush courtyards hidden behind ornate iron gates. The aroma of beignets from Café du Monde draws you toward the Mississippi River, while the sound of jazz floats from Preservation Hall, where the city's musical heritage is preserved nightly. The French Quarter's unique blend of European, African, and Caribbean influences has created a culture of celebration, resilience, and joy that defines New Orleans and makes every visit an unforgettable sensory experience. 7. Hike in Zion National Park, Utah. Discover the dramatic beauty of Utah's Red Rock Country by hiking through Zion National Park, where massive sandstone cliffs tower over narrow canyons, and the Virgin River carves its way through ancient stone. This spectacular park offers some of America's most thrilling hiking experiences, including the famous Narrows, where you walk through the river between canyon walls 1,000 feet high, and Angel's Landing, where chains assist your climb to a breathtaking summit. The park's shuttle system takes you through the main canyon, where you can spot climbers scaling sheer rock faces, wild turkeys wandering through the cottonwood trees, and the changing light transforming the cliffs from pink to deep red throughout the day. Beyond the main canyon, the Kolob Canyons area offers a quieter experience with equally stunning scenery and excellent hiking opportunities. Whether you're wading through the river, scaling a cliff, or simply sitting at the lodge watching the sunset paint the Watchman Peak in brilliant colors, Zion delivers an outdoor experience that connects you to the raw beauty of the American Southwest. 8. Tour the Freedom Trail, Boston. Following Boston's Freedom Trail, a 2.5-mile red brick path allows exploration of 16 significant historic sites. The trail leads past the Massachusetts State House, the site of the Boston Massacre, and Faneuil Hall, among others. Visitors can tour the USS Constitution and the restored North End home of Paul Revere. The Granary Burying Ground holds the graves of key Revolutionary War figures. Costumed guides and surrounding neighborhoods offer context and dining options, contributing to a Comprehensive historical experience. 9. Experience Broadway Theater, New York. Treat yourself to the magic of live theater by experiencing Broadway, the pinnacle of American performing arts, where world-class productions entertain millions of visitors in the legendary theaters of New York's Theater District. This concentrated stretch of 41 professional theaters between 41st and 53rd Streets has been the heart of American theater for over a century, premiering the most celebrated musicals, plays, and revivals in the world. The experience begins with the iconic illuminated marquees that light up the district, the energy of theatergoers dressed for a night out, and the excitement of the curtain rising on a performance that has captivated audiences around the globe. From long-running hits like The Lion King and Wicked to groundbreaking new works that push artistic boundaries, Broadway offers something for every taste. The historic theaters themselves are architectural treasures with ornate interiors that transport you to an era of glamour and spectacle. Whether you're seeing a beloved classic or discovering something new, a Broadway show represents the very best of American creativity and storytelling. 10. Visit the Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco. Marvel at one of the world's most beautiful bridges by visiting the Golden Gate Bridge, the iconic international orange structure that has symbolized San Francisco and American engineering achievement since 1937. This suspension bridge spans 1.7 miles across the Golden Gate Strait, connecting San Francisco to Marin County with its elegant Art Deco towers rising 746 feet above the water. Walking or biking across the bridge offers spectacular views of the city skyline, Alcatraz Island, and the Pacific Ocean. With the bridge's famous fog sometimes swirling dramatically around the towers. The viewpoints at both ends provide perfect photo opportunities, while the Golden Gate Bridge Plaza tells the story of the bridge's construction, which was considered impossible before engineers and workers completed this masterpiece during the Great Depression. The bridge's color was chosen to complement the natural surroundings and enhance visibility in San Francisco's famous fog, creating a harmonious relationship between human engineering and natural beauty. Whether you're seeing it for the first time or the 100th, the Golden Gate Bridge never fails to inspire awe and appreciation for human achievement against the backdrop of one of America's most beautiful settings. 11. Cruise through Glacier National Park, Montana. Discover the breathtaking majesty of Glacier National Park, where rugged mountains carved by ancient ice meet pristine alpine lakes and some of the most spectacular scenery in the Rocky Mountains. This crown jewel of the continent features over 700 miles of hiking trails that lead through valleys filled with wildflowers, past waterfalls cascading from towering cliffs, and up to ridges, offering views that stretch into Canada on clear days. The Going to the Sun Road represents one of America's greatest engineering achievements, a 50-mile mountain highway that crosses the Continental Divide at Logan Pass, offering breathtaking vistas around every hairpin turn. You can spot mountain goats scaling sheer rock faces, grizzly bears foraging in meadows, and bighorn sheep resting on the roadside while enjoying the pristine wilderness that earned this park its nickname as the crown of the continent. The park's historic lodges, including the magnificent Many Glacier Hotel, provide classic accommodations that transport you back to the golden age of American rail travel and mountain tourism, making every moment feel like stepping into a postcard. 12. Explore the Smithsonian Museums, Washington, D.C. Immerse yourself in the world's largest museum complex by exploring the Smithsonian Institution, a collection of 19 museums and galleries offering free admission to millions of visitors and showcasing art, history, culture, and science. You can spend days discovering treasures like the Hope Diamond at the Natural History Museum, the original Star-Spangled Banner at the American History Museum, and the Wright brothers aeroplane at the Air and Space Museum. The National Museum of African American History and Culture offers a profound journey through the African American experience, while the Hirshhorn showcases contemporary art that challenges and inspires. The National Zoo, part of the Smithsonian, houses giant pandas and countless other species in beautifully designed habitats that prioritize animal welfare and conservation education. Beyond the museums, the Smithsonian's research centers and educational programs extend the institution's reach far beyond the National Mall, making it a truly national resource that embodies America's commitment to knowledge, discovery, and accessibility for all. 13. Drive the Blue Ridge Parkway, Virginia to North Carolina. Embark on America's favorite scenic drive along the Blue Ridge Parkway, a 469-mile ribbon of road that winds through the Appalachian Highlands, connecting Shenandoah National Park to Great Smoky Mountains National Park. This carefully designed parkway offers breathtaking vistas at nearly every turn, with the Blue Ridge Mountains unfolding in layers of blue haze that give the range its name. You can stop at hundreds of overlooks, hike to cascading waterfalls like Crabtree Falls or Linville Falls, and explore the charming mountain communities that dot the route. The parkway showcases the region's rich cultural heritage through historic structures like Mabry Mill, where you can watch demonstrations of traditional mountain crafts and enjoy buckwheat pancakes that have been served for generations. The changing seasons transform the landscape throughout the year, with spring wildflowers, summer's lush greenery, spectacular fall colors that draw leaf peepers from around the world, and winter's quiet beauty, offering a completely different experience. Whether you drive a section or the entire route, the Blue Ridge Parkway delivers the quintessential American road trip experience through some of the country's most beloved mountain landscapes. 14. Visit the Alamo, San Antonio. Step into the heart of Texas history by visiting the Alamo, the legendary mission where a small band of Texan defenders made their stand against the Mexican army in 1836, becoming a symbol of courage and sacrifice. This iconic limestone compound, originally established as Mission San Antonio de Valero, now stands as a shrine to the defenders who fought and died during the 13-day siege that became a rallying cry for Texas independence. You can walk through the long barrack where much of the fighting occurred, see artifacts including David Crockett's rifle, and stand in the chapel where the defenders made their final stand. The site's beautifully maintained grounds, with their lush gardens and historic trees, provide a peaceful setting for contemplating the events that shaped Texas history. The adjacent museum and research center offer deeper insights into the complex history of the mission, the battle, and the creation of the Republic of Texas. Visiting the Alamo connects you to a defining moment in American expansion and the enduring spirit of those who fought for their vision of freedom. 15. Explore the Rocky Mountains, Colorado. Experience the grandeur of the Rocky Mountains by exploring Rocky Mountain National Park, where towering peaks, alpine lakes, and abundant wildlife create one of America's most spectacular outdoor playgrounds. This 415-square-mile wilderness features Trail Ridge Road, the highest continuous paved highway in the United States, which climbs above treeline to offer panoramic views of the Continental Divide and the surrounding peaks. You can hike to emerald lakes reflecting the surrounding mountains, spot elk grazing in the meadows of Moraine Park, and challenge yourself on climbs up Long's Peak, one of Colorado's famous 14ers. The park's diverse ecosystems range from montane forests filled with ponderosa pine to alpine tundra, where delicate wildflowers bloom during the brief summer season. Wildlife viewing opportunities abound, with moose wading in beaver ponds, marmots whistling from rocky slopes, and black bears foraging in the forests. The gateway towns of Estes Park and Grand Lake offer charming accommodations and dining, making this accessible wilderness the perfect destination for both serious adventurers and families seeking to experience the beauty of the American West. 16. Discover the music of Nashville, Tennessee. Immerse yourself in the heart of American music by visiting Nashville, the city that earned its nickname Music City through generations of songwriting, recording, and performing that have shaped the sound of country, rock, and gospel music. You can tour the historic Ryman Auditorium, the original, home of the Grand Ole Opry, where legends from Hank Williams to Johnny Cash have performed on its legendary stage. The modern Grand Ole Opry House continues the tradition with live radio broadcasts that feature both established stars and emerging artists who dream of becoming the next country music sensation. The honky-tonk highway along Broadway offers a continuous party with live music pouring from every bar, where you can hear talented musicians playing for tips while hoping to catch their big break. The Country Music Hall of Fame preserves the genre's history through extensive exhibits, while recording studios throughout the city continue to attract artists seeking the magic that seems to live in Nashville's creative atmosphere. Beyond country music, the city's food scene has gained national recognition, and the revitalized neighborhoods like the Gulch and Germantown offer sophisticated urban experiences that complement the city's musical heritage. 17. Hike in Acadia National Park, Maine. Discover the rugged beauty of the Northeast by hiking through Acadia National Park, where the Atlantic Ocean meets granite mountains in a landscape that has inspired artists, writers, and outdoor enthusiasts for generations. This eastern jewel features Cadillac Mountain, the highest point on the North Atlantic seaboard, where you can be among the first in the country to watch the sunrise each morning. The park's famous carriage roads, built by John D. Rockefeller Jr., offer 45 miles of broken stone paths, perfect for hiking, biking, and horseback riding, with beautiful stone bridges and views of the surrounding mountains and sea. You can explore the rocky shoreline at Thunder Hole, where waves crash into a natural cavern, creating explosive sounds, or walk the Ocean Path Trail with its stunning views of the Atlantic crashing against the granite coast. Jordan Pond offers a classic Acadia experience with its crystal-clear waters, views of the Bubbles Mountains, and the famous popovers served at the historic Jordan Pond House. The park's accessibility, with its network of trails suitable for all abilities and the free Island Explorer bus system, makes this coastal wilderness one of America's most beloved and visited national parks. 18. Tour the Space Center, Houston. Reach for the stars by visiting Space Center Houston, the official visitor center for NASA's Johnson Space Center, where you can explore America's human spaceflight program and experience the excitement of space exploration. This remarkable facility gives you access to historic mission control, where flight directors guided astronauts during the Apollo missions to the moon and continue to oversee International Space Station operations today. You can walk beneath the massive Saturn V rocket, the most powerful machine ever built by humans, which carried astronauts to the moon and stands as a monument to American engineering and determination. The astronaut training facilities allow you to see where crews prepare for missions, while interactive exhibits let you experience what it's like to live and work in space through simulators and hands-on activities. The Starship Gallery displays actual spacecraft, including the Apollo 17 command module, giving you the rare opportunity to touch a moon rock and stand in the presence of vehicles that have traveled beyond Earth's atmosphere. Whether you're a space enthusiast or simply curious about humanity's greatest adventures, Space Center Houston offers an inspiring journey into the past, present, and future of space exploration. 19. Experience Mardi Gras, New Orleans. Join one of America's most spectacular celebrations by experiencing Mardi Gras in New Orleans, where weeks of parades, elaborate costumes, and joyous revelry culminate in a final day of celebration before Lent begins. This centuries-old tradition transforms the city into a non-stop party where elaborate floats roll through the streets, riders toss beads and trinkets to crowds that have staked out prime viewing spots hours in advance. The artistry of the crew parades is extraordinary, with intricately designed floats, hand-decorated costumes, and signature throws that have become collector's items for locals and visitors alike. Beyond the famous Bourbon Street festivities, family-friendly parades in Uptown and the historic French Quarter offer experiences for all ages, with marching bands, dance troupes, and the elaborate rituals that have evolved over generations. The celebration's roots in French and Spanish colonial traditions blend with African, Caribbean, and American influences, creating a unique cultural phenomenon that draws visitors from around the world. The preparation for Mardi Gras is a year-round effort, with artisans building floats, designing costumes, and planning the elaborate balls and parties that make this one of the world's most extraordinary cultural celebrations. 20. Visit the National World War II Museum, New Orleans. Honor the greatest generation by visiting the National World War II Museum, America's official museum dedicated to telling the story of the Second World War through immersive exhibits, personal stories, and an unparalleled collection of artifacts. This world-class institution, designated by Congress as the country's official World War II museum, has grown from a D-Day memorial to a comprehensive experience that covers the war from the home front to the battlefronts across Europe and the Pacific. The museum's pavilions transport you through time, with the U.S. Freedom Pavilion displaying the massive aircraft and vehicles that won the war, while the Campaigns of Courage Pavilion immerses you in the experiences of soldiers fighting in Europe and the Pacific. The personal stories of individuals who lived through the war, from factory workers to frontline soldiers, bring history to life through recorded testimonies, letters, and photographs. The museum's Beyond All Boundaries film, narrated by Toms Hanks and shown in a 4D theater, offers an emotional overview of the war, leaving visitors with a profound appreciation for the sacrifices made by the generation that saved the world from tyranny. Visiting this museum is both educational and deeply moving, offering perspectives on courage, sacrifice, and the resilience of the human spirit. 21. Explore the Everglades National Park, Florida. Venture into the vast subtropical wilderness of Everglades National Park, a unique ecosystem of sawgrass prairies, mangrove forests, and cypress swamps that supports an incredible diversity of wildlife found nowhere else in the United States. This 1.5 million acre World Heritage Site serves as the largest subtropical wilderness in the country, where you can glide through shallow waters on airboat tours that reveal alligators sunning themselves, herons stalking prey, and the iconic roseate spoonbill displaying its brilliant pink plumage. The park's Anhinga Trail offers one of the best wildlife viewing experiences anywhere, with alligators, turtles, and countless bird species visible from an elevated boardwalk that winds through sawgrass marshes. You can kayak through mangrove tunnels, where the roots create intricate mazes that shelter juvenile fish and provide nesting sites for endangered birds, or take guided walks that explain how water flows from Lake Okeechobee through this river of grass to Florida Bay. The park's coastal areas offer opportunities to spot manatees, dolphins, and sea turtles in the brackish waters where the Everglades meets the Gulf of Mexico. This delicate ecosystem faces ongoing challenges from development and water management, making a visit both a beautiful experience and a reminder of the importance of preserving America's unique natural heritage. 22. Visit the Gateway Arch, St. Louis. Marvel at America's tallest man-made monument by visiting the Gateway Arch, the stunning 630-foot stainless steel structure that symbolizes St. Louis's role as the gateway to the West during America's westward expansion. Designed by renowned architect Eero Saarinen, this extraordinary monument represents the nation's ambition and spirit of exploration, with its elegant catenary curve rising above the Mississippi River as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson and the pioneers who followed his vision. You can ride the unique tram system to the observation deck at the top, where small pods carry visitors to enjoy panoramic views stretching for miles across Missouri and Illinois, offering a bird's-eye perspective of the city and the river that served as the highway for westward travelers. The museum below the arch tells the story of westward expansion through engaging exhibits, artifacts, and the experience of walking in the footsteps of Lewis and Clark as they began their epic journey across the continent. The surrounding grounds include beautifully landscaped parks, the historic Old Courthouse, where the Dred Scott case was tried, and riverfront access where you can imagine the steamboats that once crowded this vital waterway, whether viewed from across the river at sunrise or illuminated against the night sky. The Gateway Arch stands as an enduring symbol of American determination and the belief that the horizon always holds new possibilities. 23. Discover the music of Memphis, Tennessee. Immerse yourself in the soul of American music by visiting Memphis, where the sounds of blues, rock and roll, and soul were born on Beale Street and at recording studios that changed popular music forever. You can tour Sun Studio, the humble storefront where a young Elvis Presley recorded his first songs alongside Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins, creating the sound that would revolutionize music worldwide. Graceland, Elvis's beloved mansion, offers an intimate look at the King's life, with tours through his home, his extensive car collection, and the meditation garden where he rests with his family. Beale Street still pulses, with live music pouring from clubs that have hosted blues legends from B.B. King to Muddy Waters, with guitars and soulful voices filling the air every night. The Stax Museum of American Soul Music preserves the legacy of the legendary record label that launched Otis Redding, Booker T and the MGs, and countless other artists whose music defined the civil rights era. The National Civil Rights Museum, housed in the Lorraine Motel where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, provides a profound journey through the struggle for equality, connecting Memphis's musical heritage to the broader story of American freedom and justice. 24. Hike in Zion National Park, Utah. Discover the dramatic beauty of Utah's Red Rock Country by hiking through Zion National Park, where massive sandstone cliffs tower over narrow canyons and the Virgin River carves its way through ancient stone. This spectacular park offers some of America's most thrilling hiking experiences, including the famous Narrows, where you walk through the river between canyon walls 1,000 feet high, and Angel's Landing, where chains assist your climb to a breathtaking summit. The park's shuttle system takes you through the main canyon, where you can spot climbers scaling sheer rock faces, wild turkeys wandering through the cottonwood trees, and the changing light transforming the cliffs from pink to deep red throughout the day. Beyond the main canyon, the Kolob Canyons area offers a quieter experience with equally stunning scenery and excellent hiking opportunities. Whether you're wading through the river, scaling a cliff, or simply sitting at the lodge watching the sunset paint the Watchman Peak in brilliant colors, Zion delivers an outdoor experience that connects you to the raw beauty of the American Southwest. 25. Tour the United States Capitol, Washington, D.C. Experience American democracy in action by touring the United States Capitol, the magnificent neoclassical building where Congress meets and where the nation's laws are debated and enacted. This iconic building, with its gleaming white dome visible across the city, has been the seat of American government since 1800 and represents the ideals of representative democracy that have guided the nation for over 2 centuries. You can take guided tours through the historic chambers where the Senate and House of Representatives have debated issues from slavery to civil rights, view the impressive rotunda with its monumental paintings and statues depicting key moments in American history, and stand beneath the dome's stunning interior fresco. The Capitol's extensive art collection includes statues representing each state, portraits of influential leaders, and works that tell the story of America's development from 13 colonies to a global power. The Visitor Center offers exhibits on the legislative process and the building's history, while tickets to the Senate and House galleries allow you to observe debates and witness the sometimes messy but essential work of American self-governance. From the inaugural platform where presidents take their oath of office to the hallways where historic compromises were forged, the Capitol represents both the achievements and ongoing challenges of the American experiment. 26. Cruise to Glacier Bay, Alaska. Journey into the pristine wilderness of Glacier Bay National Park, where massive tidewater glaciers calve into the sea, whales breach in the icy waters, and the silence of the Alaskan wilderness surrounds you in one of the world's most spectacular settings. Accessible only by boat or seaplane, this 3.3 million acre World Heritage Site offers the rare opportunity to witness the power of glacial ice as it slowly shapes the landscape with thunderous cracks echoing across the bay as icebergs break away from the ice face. You can spot humpback whales feeding in the nutrient-rich waters, sea lions lounging on rocky outcrops, and bears foraging along the shoreline, all against the backdrop of snow-capped mountains rising directly from the sea. The park's glaciers are among the most active in the world, with the massive Mardi Glacier and Grand Pacific Glacier offering particularly spectacular displays of ice that has been frozen for centuries, finally reaching the sea. Cruise ships and smaller tour boats offer opportunities to experience this remote wilderness, with park rangers providing interpretation about the geology, wildlife, and Tullingit cultural heritage of this remarkable region. Whether you're watching a glacier calve, spotting a bald eagle soaring overhead, or simply absorbing the profound silence of this pristine environment, Glacier Bay offers an experience of wildness that has largely disappeared from the rest of the continent. 27. Explore the Art Institute of Chicago. Discover one of the world's greatest art museums by visiting the Art Institute of Chicago, where masterpieces spanning centuries and continents await in a stunning setting overlooking Millennium Park. This renowned institution houses an extraordinary collection that includes Grant Wood's iconic American Gothic, Georges Seurat's monumental A Sunday on La Grande Jatte, and Edward Hopper's haunting Nighthawks among its treasures. The museum's Impressionist and Post-Impressionist collection ranks among the finest anywhere, with works by Monet, Renoir, Cézanne, and Van Gogh filling the galleries with color and light. The modern wing showcases contemporary art in a beautifully designed space by renowned architect Renzo Piano, while the Thorn miniature rooms offer a unique glimpse into historic interiors from across the centuries. Beyond the famous works, the museum's extensive collections of photography, textiles, African art, and ancient artifacts provide endless opportunities for discovery across its 2 buildings and hundreds of galleries. The location in the heart of Chicago's cultural district makes it easy to combine a museum visit with exploring Millennium Park, the nearby Art Institute Gardens, and the vibrant downtown area that has made Chicago a world-class cultural destination. 28. Walk the High Line, New York City. Experience one of America's most innovative urban parks by walking the High Line, the elevated railway transformed into a stunning linear park that weaves through Manhattan's West Side neighborhoods. This 1.5-mile greenway, built on historic freight rail infrastructure, offers a unique perspective on the city, with gardens designed by landscape architects, public art installations, and seating areas that invite visitors to linger and enjoy the constantly changing views of the Hudson River and city skyline. The park's design preserves industrial elements of the original railway, while introducing native plantings that create a beautiful, natural environment floating above the busy streets below. You can walk through the Chelsea Market Passage, watch sunsets from the 10th Avenue Square overlook, and discover the vibrant neighborhoods that have developed around this beloved public space. The High Line has become a model for adaptive reuse projects worldwide, demonstrating how cities can transform obsolete infrastructure into valuable public amenities that enhance community connection and economic development. Seasonal changes bring different experiences, with spring flowers, summer concerts, fall colors, and winter lights ensuring that no two visits are ever quite the same. 29. Tour the Hoover Dam, Nevada-Arizona border. Marvel at one of America's greatest engineering achievements by touring the Hoover Dam, the massive concrete structure that tamed the Colorado River and transformed the American Southwest through its power and water. Built during the Great Depression, this Art Deco masterpiece rises 726 feet above the Colorado River, creating Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the United States, and providing electricity, irrigation, and flood control that made modern development of the desert Southwest possible. You can take guided tours that descend into the dam's interior, exploring the power plant where massive turbines generate electricity for millions of homes, and walking through tunnels blasted through solid rock during the dam's construction. The Visitor Center offers exhibits on the dam's history, including the challenging conditions faced by workers who labored in dangerous conditions to complete this project in just 5 years. The views from the dam's crest stretch across Lake Mead to the surrounding desert mountains, while the new Mike O'Callahan-Pat Tillman Memorial Bridge offers a spectacular pedestrian walkway with views of the dam from above. This remarkable structure represents American determination and ingenuity, proving what can be accomplished when the nation unites behind a common purpose. 30. Discover the National Museum of African American History and Culture, Washington, D.C. Experience one of America's most profound cultural institutions, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, a Smithsonian museum that tells the complex, painful, and ultimately triumphant story of African Americans from slavery to the present day. This stunning building, designed by David Adjaye, features a corona inspired by Yoruban sculpture and sits on the National Mall as a powerful statement about the centrality of African American history to the American story. The museum's exhibitions take visitors on an emotional journey through centuries of struggle and achievement, from the harrowing exhibits on slavery in the lower galleries to the celebration of culture, art, and achievement in the upper floors. You can see artifacts including Harriet Tubman's hymn book, Nat Turner's Bible, and Emmett Till's casket, alongside cultural treasures such as Chuck Berry's Cadillac and costumes from Black Broadway productions. The history galleries descend chronologically through the years, with each level offering deeper context about the experiences of African Americans during slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement. The museum's design encourages reflection and dialogue, with spaces for gathering, contemplation, and connection to the ongoing story of African American experience that remains essential to understanding America itself. 31. Explore the Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming. Discover the breathtaking beauty of the Teton Range by exploring Grand Teton National Park, where jagged peaks rise dramatically from the valley floor, with no foothills, creating one of the most stunning mountain landscapes in North America. This magnificent park features the iconic Mormon Row Historic District, where the famous barns, with the Tetons as a backdrop, have become one of the most photographed scenes in the American West. You can hike through lush valleys filled with wildflowers, paddle across the crystal-clear waters of Jenny Lake, and spot moose wading in the marshy areas of the Snake River that winds through the park. The Jackson Hole Valley offers world-class skiing in winter and exceptional wildlife viewing year-round, with bison herds grazing in the sage flats and pronghorn antelope racing across the open plains. The park's proximity to Yellowstone allows visitors to experience two distinct national parks in one journey, with the Tetons offering a more intimate mountain experience compared to their northern neighbors' geothermal wonders. Whether you're taking the boat across Jenny Lake to hike to Hidden Falls, driving the scenic Teton Park Road at sunrise when the peaks glow pink, or simply sitting at the historic Jackson Lake Lodge watching the sun set behind the mountains, Grand Teton delivers the quintessential Rocky Mountain experience that inspired generations of conservationists to protect this American treasure. 32. Visit the Freedom Trail, Boston. Walk through the birthplace of the American Revolution by following Boston's Freedom Trail, a 2.5-mile red brick path that connects 16 historically significant sites spanning over 250 years of American history. This self-guided tour takes you through downtown Boston, past the Massachusetts State House with its Golden Dome, the site of the Boston Massacre, and the historic Faneuil Hall, where Samuel Adams and other patriots rallied for independence. You can step aboard the USS Constitution, Old Ironsides, the world's oldest commissioned naval vessel still afloat, and visit Paul Revere's home in the North End, Boston's oldest residential neighborhood. The trail winds through the historic Granary Burying Ground, where Revolutionary War heroes, including Paul Revere, John Hancock, and Samuel Adams, rest among centuries-old headstones. Costumed guides bring the stories of the Revolution to life, while the surrounding neighborhoods offer authentic Italian cuisine in the North End and historic pubs where you can raise a glass to the patriots who helped forge a nation from colonial rebellion. 33. Experience the Oregon coast. Discover one of America's most spectacular coastlines by driving the Oregon coast, where dramatic cliffs, massive sea stacks, and pristine beaches stretch for 363 miles along the Pacific Ocean. This stunning route offers endless opportunities for exploration, from the iconic Haystack Rock at Cannon Beach, rising 235 feet from the surf, to the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area, where massive sand formations meet the forest. You can explore tide pools teeming with marine life at Cape Perpetua, climb to the top of lighthouses that have guided sailors for generations, and watch whales migrating along the coast during spring and winter months. The charming coastal towns of Newport, Seaside, and Astoria offer fresh seafood, local art galleries, and historic waterfronts that preserve the region's maritime heritage. The coast's state parks offer exceptional camping and hiking, with trails leading to hidden coves, dramatic viewpoints, and forests that grow right to the edge of the sea. Whether you're flying a kite on the wide beaches, watching storms crash against the rocks from a cozy lodge, or simply breathing in the fresh Pacific air, the Oregon coast delivers an experience of raw, natural beauty that rivals any coastline in the world. 34. Tour the Gettysburg National Military Park, Pennsylvania. Walk the hallowed ground of Gettysburg National Military Park, where the bloodiest battle of the Civil War turned the tide of American history and inspired President Lincoln's most famous address. This 6,000-acre battlefield preserves the site where over 50,000 soldiers fell during 3 days in July 1863, with monuments and memorials marking the positions where Union and Confederate troops made their stands. You can take guided tours with licensed battlefield guides who bring the history to life through stories of the soldiers, generals, and civilians who experienced this pivotal moment. The cyclorama painting, a massive 360-degree depiction of Pickett's charge, offers an immersive experience of the battle's climax, while the Visitor Center's museum houses the largest collection of Civil War artifacts in the country. Walking across the fields where soldiers charged, standing at the high water mark where the Confederate advance was finally stopped, and visiting the cemetery where Lincoln delivered his address creates a profound connection to the sacrifices that preserved the Union. The battlefield's preservation allows visitors to understand the terrain that shaped military decisions, while ongoing interpretation helps us grapple with the war's complex legacy, which continues to shape American identity. 35. Discover the Finger Lakes, New York. Experience the beauty of New York's Finger Lakes region, where 11 long, narrow lakes carved by ancient glaciers offer some of the most stunning scenery and exceptional wine country in the eastern United States. This beautiful region features over 100 wineries along the Cayuga and Seneca Lake wine trails, where you can sample excellent Rieslings and other cool climate varietals while enjoying views of the surrounding hills and vineyards. The area's dramatic waterfalls, including the 215-foot Tawanic Falls and the stunning Watkins Glen State Park with its 19 waterfalls along a 2-mile gorge trail, provide spectacular natural attractions that rival any in the country. You can boat on the deep blue lakes, fish for trout and salmon, and explore charming towns like Ithaca, home to Cornell University and its beautiful campus, and Geneva with its historic architecture and waterfront dining. The region's agricultural heritage extends beyond wine to include farm-to-table restaurants, farmers markets, and you-pick orchards offering fresh apples, berries, and pumpkins throughout the seasons. Whether you're hiking through gorges carved by ancient streams, tasting wines produced from grapes grown on glacier-carved slopes, or simply watching the sunset over one of the long, narrow lakes, the Finger Lakes offer a quintessential upstate New York experience. 36. Visit the National Mall, Washington, D.C. Discover America's front yard by walking the National Mall, the iconic stretch of green space stretching from the Capitol Building to the Lincoln Memorial that contains the nation's most important monuments and museums. This 2-mile promenade offers free access to the Smithsonian museums, where you can see the Hope Diamond, the original Star-Spangled Banner, and artifacts from America's journey through history and innovation. You can stand at the Lincoln Memorial, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, pay respects at the somber Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and gaze up at the Washington Monument piercing the sky. The reflecting pool offers the classic view that appears in countless films and photographs, while the World War II Memorial honors the greatest generation with its beautiful fountain and pillar design. Whether visiting during cherry blossom season, when pink petals frame the monuments, or on a crisp autumn evening, when the memorials glow against the night sky, the National Mall represents the heart of American democracy and history. 37. Explore the Badlands National Park, South Dakota. Venture into the otherworldly landscape of Badlands National Park, where sharply eroded buttes, pinnacles, and spires create a dramatic backdrop for one of the world's richest fossil beds and vast mixed-grass prairie. This remarkable park features a 244,000-acre wilderness of striped rock formations that change color throughout the day, from soft pastels at sunrise to deep oranges and reds as the sun sets over the prairie. The Badlands Loop Road offers easy access to the park's most spectacular scenery, with pullouts providing stunning views of formations such as the Pinnacles and the Wall, a 60-mile-long erosion escarpment that gave the region its name. You can hike trails that wind through the formations, offering close-up views of the fossils that have revealed ancient creatures like the three-toed horse and saber-toothed cat that once roamed this landscape. The park's prairie preserves one of the largest remaining mixed-grass prairies in the country, where you can spot bison, bighorn sheep, prairie dogs, and the endangered black-footed ferret. The adjacent Minuteman Missile National Historic Site tells the story of the Cold War, with preserved launch control facilities that represent a very different kind of threat to this ancient landscape. Whether you're stargazing under some of the darkest skies in the country, watching bison graze against the backdrop of dramatic rock formations, or simply driving through this surreal landscape, Badlands offers an experience of Western beauty and geological wonder. 38. Experience the French Quarter, New Orleans. Immerse yourself in the vibrant culture of New Orleans by exploring the French Quarter, where Spanish and French colonial architecture, jazz music, and Creole cuisine create an atmosphere unlike anywhere else in America. This historic neighborhood, founded in 1718, features the iconic Jackson Square, where artists display their work, street musicians perform, and the magnificent St. Louis Cathedral rises against the sky. You can wander down Bourbon Street to experience the legendary nightlife, but the quarter's true magic lies in its quieter streets, like Royal Street, with its antique shops and art galleries, and in the residential areas with their lush courtyards hidden behind ornate iron gates. The aroma of beignets from Café du Monde draws you toward the Mississippi River, while the sound of jazz floats from Preservation Hall, where the city's musical heritage is preserved nightly. The French Quarter's unique blend of European, African, and Caribbean influences has created a culture of celebration, resilience, and joy that defines New Orleans and makes every visit an unforgettable sensory experience. 39. Ski at Aspen, Colorado. Experience world-class skiing and mountain luxury at Aspen, the legendary Colorado resort that has been attracting skiers, celebrities, and outdoor enthusiasts since its transformation from a silver mining town to a premier winter destination. This iconic mountain town offers 4 distinct mountains with terrain for every ability level, from the gentle slopes of Buttermilk to the steep chutes of Aspen Highlands and the vast expanses of Snowmass. Historic downtown features Victorian architecture, high-end boutiques, exceptional restaurants, and après-ski spots where you can share stories of the day's adventures over craft cocktails. Beyond skiing, Aspen offers world-class cultural attractions, including the Aspen Music Festival, the Aspen Institute, and galleries showcasing both local and international artists. The surrounding White River National Forest provides summer activities, including hiking, mountain biking, and fly fishing in the crystal-clear rivers that flow through the roaring Fork Valley. Whether you're carving turns through fresh powder, enjoying a meal at a Mountain View restaurant, or simply soaking in the hot tub at a luxurious lodge, Aspen represents the pinnacle of American mountain resort experiences. 40. Tour the National September 11th Memorial and Museum, New York City. Pay tribute to the lives lost on September 11th, 2001, by visiting the National September 11th Memorial and Museum, a profound and beautifully designed space that honors the victims and celebrates the resilience of the human spirit. The memorial features two massive reflecting pools set within the footprints of the original Twin Towers, with the names of the nearly 3,000 victims inscribed in bronze around the edges, creating a space of quiet contemplation in the heart of Lower Manhattan. The museum, located beneath the Memorial Plaza, takes visitors through the story of that day through artifacts, photographs, and personal stories that document both the tragedy and the extraordinary response that followed. You can see the survivor's staircase that allowed hundreds to escape, the last column removed from the site covered with tributes, and hear the voices of those who experienced the attacks through powerful oral histories. The museum's design balances the need to preserve the site with the desire to educate future generations about the events that shaped the modern world. Visiting this sacred ground offers an opportunity to remember, to reflect, and to honor the resilience of the city and nation that responded to tragedy with extraordinary courage and unity. 41. Explore the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee, North Carolina. Discover America's most visited national park by exploring the Great Smoky Mountains, where ancient mountains draped in mist offer some of the most diverse plant and animal life on the continent. This spectacular park straddles the border between Tennessee and North Carolina, with over 800 miles of trails leading through old-growth forests, past cascading waterfalls, and to panoramic views from peaks that rise over 6,000 feet. The famous Cades Cove offers an 11-mile loop road through a historic valley where you can spot black bears foraging in the meadows, deer grazing at dawn, and preserved log cabins that tell the story of Appalachian settlers who called these mountains home. The park's streams and rivers offer exceptional trout fishing, while the synchronous fireflies that light up the forest each June create one of nature's most magical displays. The Appalachian Trail runs through the park for 70 miles, offering both day hikes and multi-day backpacking adventures through some of the most beautiful sections of this iconic trail. Whether you're driving the newfound Gap Road that crosses the park's highest pass, hiking to the top of Klingman's Dome for 360-degree views, or simply sitting on the porch of the historic Mountain Farm Museum watching the mist rise from the mountains, the Smokies deliver the quintessential Southern Appalachian experience. 42. Visit the Space Needle, Seattle. Ascend to the top of Seattle's iconic Space Needle, the 605-foot observation tower built for the 1962 World's Fair that has become the defining symbol of the Pacific Northwest and a testament to mid-century optimism and innovation. The recently renovated observation decks offer stunning 360-degree views of the Seattle skyline, the sparkling waters of Puget Sound, the snow-capped peaks of the Olympic Mountains, and on clear days, the majestic Mount Rainier rising above the Cascades. The rotating glass floors create a thrilling experience, allowing you to look straight down at the city below while enjoying the constantly changing perspective from this architectural landmark. The surrounding Seattle Center offers additional attractions, including the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibition, the Museum of Pop Culture housed in Frank Gehry's striking building, and the Pacific Science Center with its famous arches and interactive exhibits. The tower's history reflects Seattle's transformation from a timber and shipping hub to a center of technology and culture, with the Space Needle representing the city's embrace of the future during the Century 21 Exposition. Whether you're visiting at sunset when the city lights begin to twinkle, watching the ferries cross Elliott Bay, or simply enjoying a meal at the rotating Sky City restaurant, the Space Needle offers a quintessential Seattle experience that captures the spirit of the Pacific Northwest. 43. Discover the Monterey Bay Aquarium, California. Explore the wonders of the Pacific Ocean at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, one of the world's most renowned marine institutions, housed in a stunning former sardine cannery building overlooking the beautiful Monterey Bay. This remarkable facility features the 28-foot-high kelp forest exhibit, where giant kelp sways in simulated currents while schools of fish swim through the underwater forest in a mesmerizing display of marine life. The Open Sea exhibit showcases the incredible diversity of Monterey Bay's offshore waters, with tuna, sea turtles, and hammerhead sharks gliding through a 1-million-gallon tank that brings the open ocean into an immersive viewing experience. The aquarium's work with sea otters has been instrumental in the recovery of this endangered species, with the sea otter exhibit offering close-up views of these playful creatures as they float, groom, and crack open shellfish, delighting visitors of all ages. The location on Cannery Row provides the perfect setting, with John Steinbeck's novel bringing the area's sardine industry history to life, while the aquarium's conservation programs continue to protect the bay's marine ecosystems. Whether you're watching the daily feeding of the kelp forest, touching bat rays in the interactive tide pool, or simply gazing out at the bay from the ocean view decks, the Monterey Bay Aquarium offers an unforgettable journey into the underwater world. 44. Walk the River Walk, San Antonio. Experience the charm of San Antonio's River Walk, a 15-mile network of tree-lined waterways that wind through the heart of the city, offering a unique urban experience that has become one of Texas's most beloved attractions. This pedestrian paradise features winding pathways, arched stone bridges, and colorful umbrellas shading outdoor cafes where you can enjoy authentic Tex-Mex cuisine while watching river taxis and tour boats glide past. The Riverwalk connects the city's major attractions, from the historic Alamo to the beautiful San Antonio Missions, with the downtown section offering the most concentrated dining, shopping, and entertainment options. The annual holiday lighting transforms the river into a winter wonderland, with thousands of luminarias and decorated trees reflected in the water, while festivals throughout the year celebrate the city's rich Mexican-American heritage. The river's construction, a Works Progress Administration project during the Great Depression, demonstrates how public works can create lasting community assets that continue to draw visitors decades later. Whether you're taking a narrated boat tour to learn about the city's history, enjoying margaritas at a riverside cantina, or simply strolling the peaceful paths away from the bustling downtown sections, the Riverwalk offers a uniquely San Antonio experience that makes this Texas city feel like nowhere else in America. 45. Tour the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. Reach for the stars at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, where America's space program comes to life through authentic spacecraft, astronaut encounters, and the incredible stories of human exploration beyond Earth. You can stand beneath the massive Saturn V rocket, the most powerful machine ever built by humans, which launched astronauts to the moon and remains a monument to American engineering and determination. The Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit offers an intimate view of this remarkable spacecraft, displayed in a way that makes you feel like you could reach out and touch its heat-shielded tiles and massive cargo bay doors. The bus tour takes you to operational facilities, including the Vehicle Assembly Building, one of the largest structures in the world, and the launch pads where astronauts have launched into space throughout the history of human spaceflight. The Astronaut Encounter program offers opportunities to meet veteran astronauts who share their experiences of seeing Earth from orbit, while the new Gateway, the Deep Space Launch Complex, provides a glimpse into the future of space exploration, with Artemis missions returning humans to the moon. Whether you're watching a rocket launch from the viewing areas, touching a moon rock brought back by Apollo astronauts, or simply absorbing the scale of the facilities that launched humanity into space, the Kennedy Space Center offers an inspiring journey through one of America's greatest achievements. 46. Explore Antelope Canyon, Arizona. Descend into the magical world of Antelope Canyon, a slot canyon carved by flash floods over millions of years into the sandstone of the American Southwest, creating one of the most photographed natural wonders on Earth. This breathtaking canyon, located on Navajo Nation land, features narrow passageways where light filters through openings above, creating beams of light that illuminate the smooth, flowing walls in shades of red, orange, and purple that shift throughout the day. The upper Antelope Canyon offers easier access and the famous light beams that appear during the summer months, while the lower Antelope Canyon provides a more adventurous experience with ladders and narrow passages leading through equally stunning formations. The canyon's name comes from the pronghorn antelope that once roamed the area, and its spiritual significance to the Navajo people adds depth to the experience, with guides sharing both the geological history and the cultural importance of this sacred place. The play of light and shadow creates constantly changing patterns on the sculpted walls, with reflections bouncing between narrow walls to create ethereal effects that challenge the camera's ability to capture the canyon's true beauty. Whether you're visiting during the peak light beam season, exploring the quieter winter months when the crowds thin, or simply standing in silence as the light shifts across the walls, Antelope Canyon offers a transcendent experience of nature's artistic power. 47. Discover the National Museum of African American History and Culture, Washington, D.C. Experience one of America's most profound cultural institutions, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, a Smithsonian museum that tells the complex, painful, and ultimately triumphant story of African Americans from slavery to the present day. This stunning building, designed by David Ajay, features a corona inspired by Yoruban sculpture and sits on the National Mall as a powerful statement about the centrality of African American history to the American story. The museum's exhibitions take visitors on an emotional journey through centuries of struggle and achievement, from the harrowing exhibits on slavery in the lower galleries to the celebration of culture, art, and achievement in the upper floors. You can see artifacts including Harriet Tubman's hymn book, Nat Turner's Bible, and Emmett Till's casket, alongside cultural treasures such as Chuck Berry's Cadillac and costumes from Black Broadway productions. The history galleries descend chronologically through the years, with each level offering deeper context about the experiences of African Americans during slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, and the Civil Rights Movement. The museum's design encourages reflection and dialogue, with spaces for gathering, contemplation, and connection to the ongoing story of African American experience that remains essential to understanding America itself. 48. Experience Mardi Gras, New Orleans. Join one of America's most spectacular celebrations by experiencing Mardi Gras in New Orleans, where weeks of parades, elaborate costumes, and joyous revelry culminate in a final day of celebration before Lent begins. This centuries-old tradition transforms the city into a non-stop party where elaborate floats roll through the streets, riders toss beads and trinkets to crowds that have staked out prime viewing spots hours in advance. The artistry of the crew parades is extraordinary, with intricately designed floats, hand-decorated costumes, and signature throws that have become collectors' items for locals and visitors alike. Beyond the famous Bourbon Street festivities, family-friendly parades in Uptown and the historic French Quarter offer experiences for all ages, with marching bands, dance troupes, and the elaborate rituals that have evolved over generations. The celebration's roots in French and Spanish colonial traditions blend with African, Caribbean, and American influences, creating a unique cultural phenomenon that draws visitors from around the world. The preparation for Mardi Gras is a year-round effort, with artisans building floats, designing costumes, and planning the elaborate balls and parties that make this one of the world's most extraordinary cultural celebrations. 49. Hike in Arches National Park, Utah. Discover one of the world's most stunning concentrations of natural arches by hiking through Arches National Park, where over 2,000 sandstone formations create a landscape of otherworldly beauty in the red rock country of eastern Utah. This spectacular park features the iconic Delicate Arch, the 52-foot freestanding formation that has become the symbol of Utah, and a pilgrimage destination for hikers willing to make the mile-long climb to witness it up close. The park's easy-to-access windows section offers a concentration of arches visible from short trails, including the north and south windows, turret arch, and double arch, where you can walk beneath massive spans of rock that seem to defy gravity. The fiery furnace requires a permit or ranger-led tour to navigate its labyrinth of narrow passages and sandstone fins, offering a more adventurous experience for those seeking to explore the park's hidden corners. The park's geology tells the story of ancient deserts, seas, and the forces of erosion that continue to shape this landscape, with new arches forming as old ones eventually collapse. Whether you're photographing Delicate Arch at sunset when the rock glows with orange light, hiking to Landscape Arch, the longest in North America, or simply driving the scenic road that winds through this surreal landscape, Arches offers an experience of geological wonder that feels like stepping onto another planet. 50. Visit the Gettysburg National Military Park, Pennsylvania. Walks. The hallowed ground of Gettysburg National Military Park, where the bloodiest battle of the Civil War turned the tide of American history and inspired President Lincoln's most famous address. This 6,000-acre battlefield preserves the site where over 50,000 soldiers fell during 3 days in July 1863, with monuments and memorials marking the positions where Union and Confederate troops made their stands. You can take guided tours with licensed battlefield guides who bring the history to life through stories of the soldiers, generals, and civilians who experienced this pivotal moment. The cyclorama painting, a massive 360-degree depiction of Pickett's charge, offers an immersive experience of the battle's climax, while the Visitor Center's museum houses the largest collection of Civil War artifacts in the country. Walking across the fields where soldiers charged, standing at the high water mark, where the Confederate advance was finally stopped, and visiting the cemetery where Lincoln delivered his address creates a profound connection to the sacrifices that preserved the Union. The battlefield's preservation allows visitors to understand the terrain that shaped military decisions, while ongoing interpretation helps us grapple with the war's complex legacy, which continues to shape American identity.